It was the mug. That's what started it. We'd packed light for the trip, just 2 carry-ons and a matching sense of burnout from work. I was looking forward to silence, sun, and maybe finally seeing her laugh without checking her phone mid-sentence. The Airbnb confirmation was printed, the weather app said clear skies, and Ashley had even agreed to keep her laptop zipped shut the whole weekend. So imagine my surprise when I walked into the kitchen that morning and found her favorite mug on the counter. It's going to sound trivial, but let me tell you something. When you live with someone for nearly a decade, when you've memorized the exact rhythm of their morning routine like your own breathing, a forgotten coffee mug is not just a mug. It's a warning shot. Ashley never forgot her mug. I picked it up. It was still warm. Hey, babe. I called toward the bedroom. You switching to hotel coffee now? No answer. Just the sound of zippers and drawers, the low shuffle of indecision. I walked in to find her already dressed, not in the leggings and hoodie she always wore for travel, but in that crisp white blouse I hadn't seen since last year's office gala. Full face of makeup. Hair curled, not messy bunned. Perfume lingering in the hallway like a stranger had passed through. You ready? She asked, without looking up. I should have said something. Asked a question. But instead I just nodded and grabbed my bag. The drive to the airport was quiet, save for whatever podcast she was half listening to on her AirPods. Normally we joked about TSA lines, took bets on who'd get randomly searched. Not this time. When we reached the gate, she turned to me and said, "Actually, can we talk?" You know that moment in a movie where the camera zooms in and the sound fades and suddenly you realize the main character's about to get punched in the gut? That was me. Right there in Terminal C, next to a Hudson newsstand and a crying toddler. I've been thinking, she started. About us. About the trip. I want to do this differently. What do you mean? Her hands clutched the strap of her carry-on like she was holding something heavier than clothes. I invited someone. A friend. I blinked. A friend? Like, someone joining us? Since when? She hesitated too long. He's going through a lot, she said, avoiding eye contact like it owed her money. And I thought maybe he could use a break. I hope that's okay. And there it was. The first crack in the facade. I looked at the boarding passes in my hand. 3 names. 3 seats. A trip for 2 plus a plus 1. My jaw clenched, but I didn't let it show. Not yet. I see, I said, calmly. So it's a healing retreat now? Don't do that, she snapped. It's not like that. He's been there for me lately. Lately. That word did a lot of lifting. I glanced at the departure board. Our gate was already flashing final call. I turned back to her, the woman I had planned this entire trip for, the woman who now stood 5 feet from me but emotionally on a different planet. You know what? I said, and I meant every syllable, give him my seat. Ashley's expression twisted, part confusion, part disbelief. What are you talking about? I handed her 2 tickets. You and your friend go. Have a healing experience. I'll find my own adventure. She laughed once. A weak, brittle sound. Where will you even go? I gave her a smile. Not the sad kind. The kind that says, watch me. Somewhere better, I said, turning toward the check-in desk. And with better company. As I walked away, I didn't look back. Not even when I felt her eyes burning into my spine. Not even when she called after me once, uncertain, like maybe I was bluffing. I wasn't. I had already booked a new destination before I even left the terminal. A different flight. A different plan. And the best part? I wasn't going alone. Let's just say, her friend had a wife too. And she hadn't been invited either. It's funny what you start noticing once denial takes its hands off your eyes. On the plane, I stared out the window while turbulence gently rattled my soda. I wasn't thinking about the sun-drenched vacation Ashley was probably stepping into with her friend. I was thinking about patterns. About those little, almost invisible red flags she'd planted like Easter eggs in our life together, and how I'd kept walking past them like a blindfolded kid holding a basket. Let me rewind just a bit. 2 weeks before the trip, Ashley started jogging again. Now, on its own, that's not suspicious. People jog. People get fit. People set New Year's resolutions in October if they're ambitious. But here's the kicker. She was doing it at night. Always alone. No playlists. No route sharing. And she'd come home flushed, out of breath, glowing, but not tired. Energized. I just need time to think, she'd say, grabbing a water bottle and disappearing into the shower for exactly 30 minutes. And I believed her. Because that's what you do when the love of your life hands you a lie gift wrapped in emotional exhaustion. You nod. You support. You suppress. Then there was the charger. One night she was searching for her phone charger like a bloodhound. Couldn't find it anywhere. I pulled mine from the nightstand and handed it to her. "Oh, never mind," she said, waving me off. "I'll just use Chase's." Chase. Back then, I didn't react. Just a little skip of the heart. A chill. But it passed. Now, up in the air, staring at the clouds outside seat 14A, that moment kept playing like a scratched CD. I remembered how she'd said his name so casually, like he lived in the drawer next to her moisturizer. And then there was the third ticket. She'd booked it. Not me. Used her account, her email. Told me it was for a work friend who needed to get away. Said he'd be staying at a different hotel, doing his own thing, completely separate. But when I'd glanced at the reservation she accidentally left open on her iPad, I saw something different. One hotel. One king bed. That's when I started making calls. See, I'm not a detective. But I do own a spine, and after years of being the steady one, the stable one, the let's just talk about it over dinner guy, something in me finally decided it was time to stand. So I reached out. To Chase's wife. Her name was Melissa. She picked up on the second ring with the kind of voice that tells you she hasn't slept right in months. When I explained who I was and what I suspected, she didn't argue. She didn't gasp. She didn't even ask why. She just said, "Oh my God. You too." That's when the air left the room. "They've been seeing each other," she said, calm but shaking. "I found texts 3 months ago." She saved his number as Stacy. I confronted him. He said it was over. I guess it wasn't. I leaned back, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. "They're going on a trip together." She said it was just a friend. She laughed, bitter and low. "Ashley called me last week. Asked if I wanted to come to a spa day." I thought she was just trying to be nice. The kind of nice that gets you out of town while she sleeps with your husband, apparently. I told Melissa everything. The extra ticket. The hotel. The silence in the car. And that's when the idea clicked. We could give them exactly what they wanted, I said. A little peace. A little time together. Melissa paused. "Go on." I explained it slowly, the poetic kind of revenge you don't shout about. No fireworks. Just two people, calmly stepping out of the narrative they were being written out of. "They want to be alone?" I said. "Fine. Let's give them space. I'll leave the first 2 tickets at the gate for them. You and we'll take the backup plan." My backup plan. Melissa was quiet for a long time. Then she exhaled and said, "Where are we going?" I smiled. "Someplace warm. Someplace they didn't expect. We booked it together. Same time. Same flight." I moved my seat to 14B. Back on the plane, I finally turned to look at her. Melissa. Sitting next to me, sunglasses perched on her head, lips tied in a line of quiet fury. We didn't talk much. Didn't need to. There's a kind of bond that forms when you both get shoved off the same emotional cliff. The flight attendant came by and asked if we wanted anything to drink. "Whiskey," Melissa said. "Make it 2, I added. As the plane sliced through the clouds, I thought about Ashley and Chase, probably sipping cocktails right now, gloating silently over how neatly they'd pulled off the swap. They had no idea. Not yet. But the curtain was about to lift. The text came through just after we landed. "Ashley, hey, where are you? You missed boarding. Gates closed. Are you okay?" 3 question marks. Not 1. Not 2. 3. That's how you know guilt's got its hand around someone's throat. They start over-punctuating like they can convince you they still care. Melissa saw it too, peeking over as I tilted the phone in her direction. "Worried she's going to miss her backup plan," she muttered, eyes narrowed. "Or worried you're about to torch it?" I didn't answer. I just powered off the phone. She didn't need a reply. Because this wasn't about text anymore. This wasn't even about Chas. This was about the final curtain lee. C. Funny word. Re. I. Re. Melissa A. D. We Che. It was alliance. 2 soldiers with matching scars and a shared target. By the time we hit the beach, Ashley had texted 5 times. 2 missed calls. 1 voicemail. I didn't listen to it. Melissa did. She played it on speaker over mojitos. Ashley's voice was frantic, but not heartbroken, just inconvenienced. "Logan, what's going on? Chase says you never got on the plane, but you're not answering. I don't understand. Are you trying to make a point? This is childish. Look, I know you're hurt, but can we just talk about this like adults? I didn't do anything wrong. You're overreacting. This was supposed to be a break for all of us." I laughed at that. Out loud. All of us, I repeated, raising my glass. Melissa snorted. Like we're a committee now. Here's the thing people like Ashley and Chase never understand. Betrayal doesn't end with the act. It metastasizes. It travels. It climbs into your lungs and changes how you breathe. They think cheating is the climax, but really, it's just the trigger. The real damage is what follows. You stop trusting your instincts. You second-guess your good days. You wonder if every inside joke was plagiarized from a conversation they had with someone else in a hotel hallway. But that's where the two of us were different. Melissa wasn't crying. I wasn't drowning in a bottle. We were planning. The next day, we crafted the post. One post. One perfectly timed, subtly brutal, absolutely irrefutable post. A photo. Me and Melissa on a sunlit patio, coffee mugs in hand, sunglasses on, smiles not forced, just knowing. The caption read, "Sometimes the best vacations are the ones you don't see coming. Sun hashtag new beginnings hashtag no leftovers." That hashtag no leftovers was Melissa's idea. Within 2 hours, Ashley viewed the post. Chase liked it, then unliked it, then liked it again. You could practically smell the panic. Melissa and I didn't post again for 2 more days. Let the tension simmer. We spent our mornings in peace. Talking, reading, watching the waves. She told me about the first time she suspected Chase, how he started humming songs he never used to like. Songs Ashley had posted about in her stories. How he'd once whispered Ashley's name in his sleep and claimed he was dreaming about work stress. I told her about the time Ashley accidentally called me Chase while talking about the beach. It's a popular name, she'd said, brushing it off. I believed her. I believed a lot of things. Now, I only believed in momentum. In revenge. Not the rage kind, the surgical kind. The kind that doesn't scream. It whispers. Right before it ruins your life. 3 days after the post, the silence broke. Not with an apology. Not even with an explanation. But with a paragraph Ashley sent at 2:17 a.m. If this is about the trip, I think we need to be honest about what's really going on. You've been distant for a long time, Logan. I felt alone. And Chase? He listened. He cared. I didn't plan for it to happen. It just did. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but it's the truth. You don't own me. That last line? That was the one. I don't own her. Of course not. Never claimed to. I wasn't trying to own her. I just wanted her to act like she was married. Melissa read the message over my shoulder. She's trying to pre-defend herself, she said, sipping her tea. Like she's building a closing argument before the trial even starts. She's not wrong, I said. There will be a trial. Ashley still didn't know that I had copies of everything. The reservation confirmations. The emails. The text I'd pulled from our shared cloud storage before she remembered to change the password. A few screenshots that didn't leave much room for interpretation. But the real gem? A voice memo. Ashley had a habit of sending herself voice notes when she didn't want to type. I used to think it was cute. Now I knew better. I'd found one. From a week before the trip. I think he suspects something. I saw the way he looked at the calendar. But who cares, honestly? He's not going to leave. Logan's too loyal. It's kind of sad, actually. He still believes we're in a rough patch. I almost feel bad. Almost. I sent it to her. No caption. No emoji. No comment. Just the raw audio file of her own words echoing back through her inbox like a ghost. I didn't get a reply. Instead, Chase texted me. Whatever game you're playing, bro, you need to stop dragging Melissa into it. She's got nothing to do with this. That was the moment I realized something important. Chase wasn't afraid I'd expose them. He was afraid I already had. I didn't answer him either. Silence, when well-timed, is its own form of power. Melissa had been mostly calm until that point. But after hearing the voice note, after watching Chase fumble through a poorly punctuated defense text, she cracked a little. I want to burn it all down, she said, standing on the balcony with a glass of wine. Not him. Not her. Just the illusion. The house. The lies. Everything. I understood. God, I understood. But I had a different plan. Because the best revenge isn't fire. It's water. It's slow. It floods the foundation until the walls fall in on themselves. You don't have to lift a single match. So, I started small. I messaged the travel agent we used. Had them reroute the hotel confirmation email, the one Ashley would need to extend her stay, straight to Melissa. Deleted it from Ashley's inbox. Then I canceled the spa appointments. The prepaid dinners. The hot air balloon sunrise tour I'd booked 2 months ago. Refunded the credit card. Put the money in a new account. Melissa watched me work like she was watching someone sculpt a statue from the wreckage of a life. "You're not just getting even," she said. "No," I replied. "I'm getting free." The next morning, I sent Ashley one last message. Not to argue, not to ask why, but to give her a mirror. "You didn't fall out of love, Ash. You just ran out of curiosity. I used to be enough until I got boring. And instead of fixing us, you looked for novelty. I get it now. You weren't looking for a partner. You were looking for a new story to tell yourself in the mirror. I hope the ending's worth it." She didn't reply, but she read it. Twice. By the end of the week, her Instagram changed. No more couples posts. No more dreamy quotes about healing. Just a photo of the ocean. The caption read, "Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself." Melissa rolled her eyes. Wow, did she write that before or after she lost the dinner reservation? I laughed. A real one this time. Because even though the pain was still there, dull, steady, uninvited, it was finally outnumbered by something else. Clarity. And just as we were settling into a rhythm of freedom, of new air in our lungs, Melissa's phone buzzed. She read the message and went pale. Then she turned to me slowly, mouth parted. "It's from Chase," she said. I raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess. He's blaming me now?" "No," she whispered. "He just asked if I ever felt something between us." Melissa stared at her phone like it was a live grenade. The text glowed on the screen. 5 words, plain as daylight. "Did you ever feel something?" She didn't move. Just stood there on the balcony, the sea breeze stirring her hair, the sun warming her face, but none of it reaching her. I walked over, calm, calculated. I'd seen enough to know what came next wasn't panic. It was revelation. She turned the phone toward me like she needed a second set of eyes to make sure it said what it said. It did. Chase was spiraling. Desperate. This was his Hail Mary, not to win her back, but to rewrite history before it fossilized with his name in the mud. Melissa exhaled slowly. "You know what that means, right?" I nodded. "He thinks the affair is crumbling. And he wants to drag me back into his story," she said, shaking her head. "He wants me to doubt what I saw. Who he was. Who we were. Classic arsonist," I muttered. "Burn it down, then ask if you remember the house smelling funny." She laughed. "Just once." But it was sharp, bitter, the sound of someone seeing the pattern clearly for the first time. "You gonna respond?" I asked, sipping my coffee like we weren't dismantling a marriage in real time. She thought about it. Really thought. "No," she said. Not with words. Instead, she opened her camera. Stood next to me. Took a photo, not posed, not dramatic. Just a simple shot of us side by side, not touching, not smiling. Just still. Peaceful. Then she posted it. No tag. No caption. Just a location pin. The lovers who stayed behind. An hour later, Chase's Instagram went dark. Ashley's profile picture disappeared. The photos? Archived or deleted. Their online lives scrubbed. Melissa scrolled once and set her phone down. "It's funny," she said, staring at the waves. "They were the ones who left us behind, and now they're the ones ghosting each other." "That's the thing about infidelity," I said. "It only thrives in shadows. Drag it into the sunlight, and it withers." We spent the afternoon in a town square, sipping espresso like 2 retired detectives after a solved case. No fireworks. Just the kind of quiet where you can finally hear your own thoughts again. Melissa looked lighter. Not healed, not yet, but looser. Like she'd stopped carrying other people's secrets on her spine. At one point, a little girl ran by, chasing a pigeon, laughing like betrayal didn't exist. Melissa watched her, eyes glassy. "I always wanted a family," she said, more to herself than me. Chase said we had time. Turns out, what he meant was, he had options. I didn't respond. Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. That evening, we got dinner at a cliffside restaurant. There was no tension, no awkwardness. Just 2 people who'd both been set on fire and somehow walked out with fingerprints intact. As the check came, I felt a buzz in my pocket. A new number. No name. But I knew. I opened it. "I saw your little photo shoot. Real mature. I hope you're happy playing house with my wife." Chase. Bitter. Predictable. But he wasn't wrong. I was happy. Not because Melissa and I were in love. Not even close. But because we were honest. Something neither of our exes could spell if you spotted them, the H and the O. I looked at Melissa. She raised an eyebrow. "Another love letter?" I showed her. She took my phone, typed a reply, and handed it back. I had sinned. She's not playing house, Chase. She's just staying where the air is finally clean. It started with a tip. Melissa got a call from a mutual friend back home, someone still working at the firm where Chase and Ashley's work friendship had blossomed. "Thought you should know," the voice said, cautious. "HR is asking questions." Someone saw them at the resort. Together. Very together. Apparently, the company had a no fraternization policy. Not just a formality, a serious rule. And Ashley? She was technically one of Chase's project managers. Translation: if HR wanted to make an example out of them, they had the receipts. Melissa smiled, slow and cold. "We don't even have to expose them," she said. "They're doing it themselves." Karma had clocked in. Still, I wasn't after lawsuits or terminations. Not really. Those were fireworks. Flashy. Loud. Gone in seconds. What I wanted was silence. Long, cold. Echoing. I wanted to take back something more sacred than money or reputation. Their narrative. For months, they've been the ones holding the pen, scribbling in the margins of our lives, rewriting our marriages, reframing their betrayal as some tragic, inevitable love story. Now it was our turn. I booked a studio session with a friend who shot short films and confessionals for indie documentaries. We recorded a 5-minute monologue. Just me, talking directly to the lens. Calm. Clear. No names. Just truths. A story. About loyalty. About erasure. About people who disappear from your life not with a goodbye, but with a grin and a hotel room key. Melissa did one too. Her story was even sharper. She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. She just listed the moments, all the clues she ignored, the way she tried to be enough, the exact day she stopped apologizing for being angry. We uploaded the videos separately, but we linked them under one title. The people you replace remember everything. The view count spiked. Not viral. Not scandalous. Just haunting. Ashley never commented. Chase didn't even dare. But we knew they watched. You can tell by the silence. The kind that reads like a threat. We didn't mention them by name. Didn't have to. Back home, the fallout began. A mutual friend texted me. "I just found out Ashley and Chase are on a break. She says she needs space." From him. Melissa got one too. "Chase is blaming you. Says you manipulated the whole thing." She laughed until her eyes watered. "They're imploding. We didn't break them. We just stopped lying for them." But the part that hit hardest? Ashley reached out to my mother. She sent her a card. A long, handwritten letter about what went wrong, full of passive phrases and poetic self-pity. Logan was always so safe. I guess I outgrew safe. My mother, who used to adore her like a second daughter, sent the card back, shredded. Inside the return envelope was a sticky note with 4 words. "He deserved so much more." That was the first time I cried. Not because of the betrayal that well had dried up weeks ago, but because I finally felt seen, believed, validated by someone who never picked sides until Ashley made it impossible not to. You don't realize how much of yourself is tied up in a person until they leave and take parts of you with them. One morning, I stood in front of my mirror and tried to recognize the man I used to be. The one who brought Ashley breakfast in bed. The one who bought couples therapy books and signed up for wine-tasting weekends just to reconnect. He was gone. And in his place? Someone quieter. Sharper. Not colder, just more precise. That afternoon, I packed the last box from our shared storage unit. Her yoga mat, an old scarf, a notebook she once called her vision journal. Inside it, I found a list. My dream life. Bullet points. Morning runs. Beach house with someone who challenges me. No more guilt. Passion over safety. Champagne in bed. Feeling seen. I flipped the page. In her handwriting, underlined. Logan will never understand this. She was right. I didn't understand it then. But I do now. She wanted a highlight reel. I was the full movie. And she got bored before the second act. When we finally flew home, Melissa and I didn't talk much. We weren't avoiding anything. We just said it all already. The silence between us wasn't empty. It was earned. At baggage claim, we hugged. Nothing more. Just 2 people who'd survived a car crash and learned how to walk again on shattered bones. "Don't be a stranger," she said. "Only if you don't become one." We went our separate ways. No strings. No promises. Just mutual respect, the kind you can only find at the bottom of the same betrayal. When I got home, Ashley's car was gone. She'd moved out. Left the keys in the mailbox with a note that just said, "I guess you win." But I hadn't won anything. This wasn't a contest. This was a reckoning. And she wasn't the judge. 6 months later, I stood in the exact same airport terminal. Same gate. Different destination. Not running away. Not escaping. Just moving forward. I looked around, remembering the last time I stood here, holding 3 tickets, heart pounding, wondering what kind of man gives up a beach trip to chase his gut. That version of me? He didn't survive. But I was proud of him. Because he chose dignity over drama. He chose silence over screaming. He chose freedom. A message lit up my phone as I boarded. Melissa, just saw your interview on that podcast. You said the thing I've been trying to say for months. Love isn't a leash. It's a mirror. And some people look into it and only see their own reflection. Hope your new chapter is wild, honest, and exactly yours. I smiled. Put the phone in airplane mode. As the plane lifted, I looked out at the clouds. I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel bitter. I felt done. And in the best possible way. Because the final act? It wasn't revenge. It was release. And nothing stings a narcissist more than the person they left behind, flying without them.